This video is sponsored by Gamers Grass. In this video, we are going to be making the massive Space Bears themed board that we are going to be using in our 10th edition battle report.
But we need a table to build our tables, so let's get started. It's tabletop time.
These are 4 foot by 2 foot MDF sheets. They're 6 mil thick, but this one has something different. This one is a little bit special.
We are taking 2 of our Kill Team boards and we're making a modular game board. So this Kill Team board was made previously for one of our battle reports, and you can go check that out. I've put the card up the top for you to go have a look. This board was made for our Stormbird, and obviously that's missing. We've got that somewhere else. We made this in a separate video, so card up the top if you want to check that one out. So with everything in place, let's start marking out our actual game board.
So I think this Stormbird can do double duty. We're going to make a cradle with it in this terrain that will become a nice crater. We can either have it on the board as part of the kill team environment or crashed into this larger board to kind of spread out the set pieces. Pretty dramatic.
It's all blocked out and planned.
Yes, it's time for me to get my liquid nails out and start gluing some foam to the board.
Yeah, and then we've got to cut it up as well.
Let's do it.
Be careful with that thing.
Nice car.
That leaves it to me to do the foam cutting, which is always fun and satisfying. So come with me, let's go cut some foam for this board.
I didn't mean to do that. Oh, no.
So with my pieces of foam cut out, it's time for me to get the caulking gun out and actually attach them to the board. So I want to get this done quickly and put it all together. So I'm not going to wait for them to dry onto the board. I'm going to put them all together. And the way I'm going to do that is with skewers. So I'll put glue between each layer of foam and then basically punch them in with a skewer to hold them in place. And they'll take about 24 hours to dry. It wouldn't be the Victorian winter we've been having for the past 3 years endlessly if it wasn't constantly raining. So as I was building out the foam, I thought it was a really simple and obvious fix to just sort of have it taper off. It was the easiest thing for the build. But then I realized, of course, the door would have to open on the Space Bears hanger, and this doesn't make any sense. We're going to have to make a little bit of a concession for creativity and just kind of have that taper off at some point, but I do want to make a much bigger space. So I'm going to pull all of this as close to the edge as I can, and then I'm going to build another bit like a pillar of rock, a spacer here, just to make it feel a little bit more realistic. And it's just a little thing I bumped into halfway through the build that I thought you'd want to hear about. So what's a good transition? No, you don't want that. In the roleplay over on Tabletop Time Roleplay that we did.
What roleplay?
Roleplay over on Tabletop Time Roleplay. The full Warhammer playthrough we did that we just re-uploaded for your viewing entertainment as one episode.
Thanks, you go check that out.
Absolutely.
It was so good.
Get the links are down there. They're in the description and on the card. Like, they've already done it. Not there. Ages ago, that told the story that set all this up. The bunker was right next to the site of the Tyranid incursion, so I'm thinking cracked stone ferrocrete with alien Tyranid tentacles coming up through the ground. So I'm going to start setting in the corkboard and building the foundations, and then we're going to detail it out. All right, this is actually a really good opportunity to show you how fast you can make terrain at home. First thing I need to do though is cut some foam, so that's respiratory protection. Let's go.
Oh god. Oh.
We're on the clock. That's what I want to do. My noggin just couldn't like calculate what I was trying to do. Alright, once we put in some sculptor mold and some details, this is going to look really cool, like a shattered bunker that something's coming out of.
I've got the perfect item, thanks to today's sponsor, Gamers Grass. They release a whole bunch of amazing products for your basing and terrain projects, and they've recently released these new Alien Infestation resin basing bits. These awesome pieces are really going to help make this base feel alive and start to introduce that Tyranid infestation. Gamers Grass are frequently adding new tuft colors to their range, and when we saw the new alien themed colors, we thought they'd be perfect for this board. We're going to continue to use these bits to really elevate everything we do. I'm going to start to inject some dark purple into the environment as if the Tyranid life forms are starting to influence everything here. I really like the look of these red ones growing out of the rock. And it's not just tufts and resin basing bits that Gamers Grass make. They also have completely finished battle-ready bases you can buy and just glue your models onto. I stock their products in my game store. They're genuinely awesome, and we use them in as many projects as we can. The links are in the description. Grab some Gamers Grass products or check with the local game store if they can stock it. It's time for me to build the crater for this Stormbird, and then I can sculpt mold everything. Let's do it.
So while Dave is busy working on the board, I'm gonna go ahead and make some of this miniature scenery terrain, and I'm really excited about this, and I'm gonna show you the process, so let's get to it.
So to really help sell this like alien crashed thing, whatever it is, I'm gonna need some milliput because I want to make some big writhing tentacles coming out. We imagine that was a hive spore pod that has crashed and stayed crashed and buried under this frozen wasteland that's now been disturbed. So it's starting to spread out and infect the landscape. So milliput time. I am loving how this is turning out. Dave Carpenter's The Thing much. It's super gross and grisly. And while it's not perfectly seamlessly joined out, that's what the Sculpt-It is for. So we'll be doing that in a second and really blending together all those pieces, and it should become really cohesive.
It's tabletop time.
No, don't do that. I'll put white paint in there, you dingus.
Why?
Because that's the white one.
Why do we want a white one?
Snow?
Aren't we putting snow on top of it?
But
It's bluestone with snow on top of it.
it's alright, that's alright. Dark creates more contrast when you put the snow on top. This is our asphalt mix. That is our earthy
That can be the
mix.
road.
So I've put sand in here. This is going to be earthy, so let's add a bit more of this.
Our chaoses are not meshing right now.
I think they're meshing just right.
Okay, alright.
Let's go. This has been intruded on.
Yeah, and
So you had a road sort
did
of-
join up somewhere around
Yeah.
there. I kind of imagine this was like a depot ground where like trucks would pull up, but then the Stormbirds decided to crash into it.
Use the code DROPBEAR to see a price drop of 10% off of anything on its tabletoptime.com. That includes merch. What the f? Ah! Sorry. It's fine.
No, there's no road that way. Why are you doing a road that way?
Because there's a road that way.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, there is.
That's
See?
archaeological ruins.
Yeah, they've got to go to archaeologify it.
It's always important when you have hobby friends and a hobby community to have like different people in your crew that you can get for different things.
What's my thing, Dave?
It's really good to have someone who can get it
Done!
I just wish you didn't yell as much.
Hey, Dave, do you want to move this Stormbird before I destroy it?
Alien infestation starting.
That's it. Yeah! Oh my tendon.
So unimpressed then.
Spent all day on that.
Oh dear. Yeah, I spent 15 minutes on this. Careful, guys. Look at that. Like a glove! Right here, nice warm room for it to set ready for a paint job tomorrow.
All we need to do is bake this bad boy underneath that heater overnight so the Sculpt-It sets. And you know what they say about baking? Bored.
So Barry, we're here.
Yes, I believe Dave has been making the board all by himself.
Yes, let's go have a look and see what he's been up to.
Alright. Whoa! He did this in a day? Dave?
I think I know exactly what Dave needs.
So I've got the heater on full blast and this board is being very resistant to drying. But given that I'm gonna have to paint it later, I may as well do the next step, which is to cover all the foam in some Mod Podge to protect it, and that way I can use some aerosols, which will really speed up the painting process. Let's do it. It's like 28 degrees in this room. Oh.
So I've just made up this miniature scenery terrain, and these are super cute. They were really easy to make, and I actually had a lot of fun building these. I kind of forgot how much fun MDF terrain can be to build, and I'm super excited to try this again. All I need to do now is spray and weather them, and then they're ready for the board. So I've sprayed up all of the terrain pieces I've been working on that are gonna go on the board. And I thought that they could use a layer of streak and grime, but I couldn't really get the airbrush to work and I couldn't be bothered putting on a mask. So instead, I decided to use my own method. I made up a mixture of paint and water and just slopped this all over the top. So the last thing I need to do is just weather them up a little bit and then we can add snow on top and then I think they'll feel right at home.
So it's time to paint this board. It's had plenty of time to dry. I'm going to use aerosols to establish a whole bunch of base colors and then come in with some dry brushes. But let's start with the aerosols. We're going to use a whole bunch of different colors to try and match the strata of the rock. These are going to be pretty dynamic, pretty strong colors because it's all going to get super muted down with some very gray dry brushes and the white of the snow. Let's get into it. Isn't that amazing? With those really quick steps, it's fairly seamless now. All those undertones are established just with aerosol paints. Now I can come in with a dry brush from above and start to blend in and match all the rock between the different boards. It's a pretty simple process because most of the board is going to be covered in snow. While I let that spray paint settle, I am going to go and prepare some laser cut plants, getting them ready to add a bunch of alien foliage onto the board. Gamer's Grass laser cut plants are super easy to use, and they add a huge amount of texture onto your boards, which is just fantastic. It's a really great way to bring your environments to life. For these particular plants, I'm picking some colors that will align with the tufts I've already chosen, such as purple and blue. They're going to be blooming in sheltered areas of the cliffs, as well as around the alien incursion that's happening at the front left of the board. To do this, I like to do a little wobbly motion with my finger, bending each of the leaves as if gravity's affecting them, and then squishing them all up into the middle. You can then glue multiple layers of these laser cut plants together to make it even thicker and bushier. Now I've made a couple, I'm going to make a whole bunch more, and then we'll start to place them on the board. Okay, so I've made my laser cut plants, they're gluing, and before I can put them on the board, I need to dry brush it. So I'm going to make up a cheap mix of acrylic paint to do that with. Got some black paint, some white paint, and I'm going to add just a little bit of bluestone powder mix to give it that blue tint to match the theme of the board. I'm just going to use a big brush for this, and I think it'll be a pretty quick process, so let's do it. So this is way too dark, so I'm just going to grab some of this, put it in another container, and add a lot more white. Whoa, Jen, you've done so much!
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good, pretty scary.
It's exactly what I imagined. It's like the earth is cracking. It's so organic and disgusting. All right, so I had actually thought that something else that would help that area of the board would be to use some iron oxide pigments, and I brought them out earlier just to make that area look maybe a little bit like it was metallic or it's charred or broken. So I'm gonna slap some of those pigments on.
So we're just putting on the final details to our board. So the first thing I gotta do is I gotta glue in the Humpty and the crate that's sitting over there. And we're gonna start decorating the board with these amazing Gamer's Grass plants. We're gonna use these alien plants that are all these really cool funky colors and add them to this area here.
That's right, for an extra bit of three-dimensionality, I've also got these laser cut plants I've made up in these cool alien colors, and I think they're gonna bring this, well, Dave Carpenter's The Thing area to life.
It's snow time.
Let's it! It's beginning to look a lot like Nidmus. This is such The Thing vibes, I love it. All right, so one more little touch I wanted to do. I don't know if this is gonna work, but you know, right at the end of the project, why not just do it? So I wanna make a little gross toxic waste dump. I'm gonna use some of this slime texture. I'm gonna use some Vallejo vomit. And I'm gonna use some of those acid green plants from Gamer's Grass. See how it goes. So it doesn't make much sense to me that these tentacles would have snow on them. They're writhing and coming out of the ground. So I'm just going to quickly pull back some of that snow before it dries. And then I'm going to use some stringy glue to make it look like these tentacles are super slimy and gross. And with the finishing touches of making my weird little acid pond, it was time to see some reveals. We would like to thank all of our patrons. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to make 2 videos a week, and you really are the grease that keeps the wheels turning. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to join up, consider signing up to our Patreon. We do a monthly mini review, as well as access to our private Discord, where we all have chats, hang out, and do all that stuff. This has been super fun, Jen.
Yeah, I can't believe we've turned 2 kill team boards into a big 40k board.
And with any luck, when it's fully dry, we'll still be able to separate them. Might need a knife to make that happen.
Yeah, that's someone else's job, but for today, this is all done and it looks amazing. Good work, Dave.
Thanks, Jen. Thank you also to Gamers Grass for sponsoring the video. Their products are awesome. Check them out. Links are in the description. I always reach for them first when I'm basing or doing terrain projects. Now, you might notice a stunning lack of Stormbird. Why is that? Well, that is because we are leveling up our production for our next battle report, and we have some amazing plans involving virtual production and honestly stuff that we haven't seen anyone do before.
That's coming out in a future video, so make sure you like and subscribe so you get a notification when it comes out.
It'll only be a few weeks. You won't have to wait long, and you'll be able to see this Stormbird, you know, on fire or something.
But it is absolutely freezing in here, so I'm gonna go. Bye.